Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Those of you who are in other states, can you hear us?
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear you.
the cup and the string are working well.
Yeah, you sound loud and clear.
Loud and clear, Jersey City.
See John, welcome John. Wearing a snappy scarf. Steve in New Jersey, and here comes Sarah. Okay, so Lynn Arthur's going to join us, but I'm not sure when. Hi, Sarah. Okay, so we'll jump in.
The link isn't working on the website.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Have a motion,
Move
all
to
motions, a second, and all in favor? Okay. Christina?
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I just had to unmute myself.
Did you get a chance to read the minutes?
I couldn't find the minutes. I got the agenda and then the list of
They
meetings.
were actually, they came last night.
Oh, I didn't see it last night. We were out. Sorry.
That's okay. No. Don't apologize. Maybe while we're going over the schedule for next year, just take a look at them. And if you-
I can't access them on my phone because I don't have access to that account.
Okay, right.
Yeah, if you guys have a majority.
Majority.
just pass
That's
it.
okay. We have a majority, and we're just going to go ahead.
Okay, great. I'll look forward to reading them. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. No. It's not your fault. It's okay. Okay. And then we have a list of next year's Green Committee dates. We're going to keep the same time, 9 to 10 on a Thursday, if everybody is comfortable with that.
I'm used to it.
I
What
do
would you
have
prefer?
some.
7 to 8?
Thanks.
Tim,
Yeah.
it would be, I mean, during the winter months, I have a standing appointment at 8 o'clock. So from 8 to 9, and then that means I can't be on my computer until 9:30 at the earliest, when I might be able to get home by then. So it's a little difficult to start at 9, but I don't want to change it or ask for it to be changed. If it's good for everybody else, I can just come in like this on my phone.
I think unless,
I mean, we can adjust the calendar as long as it doesn't conflict with other things. So if there's another date and time and you guys want me to look into availability, I can do that.
so which months are we talking about?
It's basically sort of the latter end of October through May.
Okay, it's a lot of months.
Well, it's 7 generally. The latter end of October, so it's half of October, or perhaps just November, December, January, February, March, April, and May.
So it's Thursdays, right?
It's Monday through Thursday, unfortunately. So Friday's the only day when I have nothing scheduled in the morning.
What if we started at 9:30 on Thursday?
Well, yeah, that would make it easier. I mean, we could keep the same day. It just, yeah.
Actually, we used to start earlier because several people here had jobs. So I don't think
Yeah, I know Sarah, it was difficult for Sarah to meet later
Exactly.
than 9. Yeah.
But
It's the same for me as well. It'd be a bit
Sarah's
tough
in the
for me as
audience
well.
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
then let's keep it
Yeah.
at 9. This is
John,
fine.
that
I'll just
doesn't
make
work.
it.
The Friday morning thing is not a bad option either, because like I'm actually on the island every Friday, but I'm just
So-
putting that out there.
So
Oh.
John, moving it to 9:30 wouldn't work for you?
No, I normally have a lot of meetings start on the hour.
Yeah. Moving it to 9 on Friday, though, if that's possible with the town schedule, the rest of the meetings, that would
But
be
wait,
great for
John,
me.
you just said that Friday's not good for you?
No.
Friday is not.
I mean, I
good.
can I could make Friday work, but I'm easy on Thursday or Friday, really.
I prefer Thursday, any day during the week except Friday.
Oh, all right.
Sherry's saying she can't do
Uh,
that.
okay,
Don't worry about it then.
And Friday is the day when everything for people who don't live in town gets scheduled.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
I think it stumps me.
right, well, why don't we leave it as is for now? I
That's
mean,
okay. Yeah, my schedule may well change next year anyway, so yeah. Sorry.
we can play it by ear. I mean, even if you're on your phone, at least you're able to attend, and even if you log in at 9:30 and do the half hour on your computer, that's it's okay to do, I would think.
Let's try it and see how it goes.
What's wrong with 9:30 on Thursday? Just moving it by half an hour. That was no good? Okay.
A lot of people have 10 o'clock meetings, or they have to, yeah.
It doesn't work for John.
Yeah, let's just keep it at 9. That's fine. I can make it work.
Okay.
There are some Thursdays where I have a 10 o'clock, so I run from 8 o'clock. So.
Yeah, okay, let's, okay, so I make a motion to accept the schedule as is. Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. Okay. Linda's gonna join us today, but I'm not sure when. Let's see if she texted me. So you just jump to, oh, didn't hear from her. Oops, maybe it did. Oh, okay, let's jump to ETIP updates. So yesterday at the meeting, we reviewed, Charity, you weren't there, but Brian, and you probably haven't had a chance to look at them, but Brian, actually, Becky Meadows and Gustavo went through the slide deck for the questions.
Yes, I did look at that last night or
Okay,
this morning. or
so they kind of
whenever.
fleshed them out, responding to your questions, and then I also had added comments. And we spent pretty much the entire hour walking through them. And Brian would like a response by tomorrow.
I saw that. So, the thing that he sent, the new or the slide deck that we had not previously vetted, looked at, I didn't, obviously I can't benefit from whatever you fleshed out yesterday, because I haven't seen that yet, unless there's a document that I missed.
I think he was going to send out two. One was the outreach slide deck, and then the other one would be about geothermal.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I have not
That's the
looked
only
at.
thing he sent out.
Which I have not. Oh, that's what you printed out. Oh, you printed out both.
No, geothermal hasn't arrived to my knowledge.
Okay, I didn't see it either. Okay, so then you only did see the one I'm talking about, the outreach for the public, and
I did look at that, yes. But you also mentioned that, and that's what he wants a response to by tomorrow or whenever, Friday.
well, he
Yeah.
he would like us to respond by tomorrow.
Right. So I have basic questions about that. Did he go over it in the session? Because maybe that's why I have basic questions.
Yes, they did.
They did. Okay.
They did.
'Cause So Don, who's the audience for that?
Supposedly, this is a draft for their report for the public. This,
So in my mind, it's super technical for the public.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I don't know if it was because I was looking at it in the wrong format or something, but I wasn't seeing labels. Like I didn't know what the table. There was no title on the first table. So I mean, it looks familiar. I think I've seen it before, but I don't know what.
I think the way I view this, Charity, and correct me if everybody disagrees, but to me, it's like the bones of the basic structure for something, but then it's got to be translated into language and a format that is accessible and readable to people who are not versed in all of this.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Well, that was my problem with the first document that they sent us. It was full of acronyms and undefined terms that nobody has any idea what they are. I mean, they do, but so I don't know. Maybe it's more fruitful for us to ask them for specific tables or specific visuals, and not expect them to put the words around it, because I just couldn't understand the context for what those slides were.
I think we actually need two products. I think we need something, as you suggested, for the public, without much technical detail, but with making it very clear. And then we need something for those of us who are technical to understand their assumptions. Actually, I have trouble with some of the assumptions that they've made for this residential study.
Yeah, I think that this document that they gave us could be part of their like presentation to the town and kind of a more intense look at it, but then there really needs to be a basic cheat sheet for the public.
Agree.
And so I agree with Don, that we need two different documents for this.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing. I agree completely. And it was quite technical, and that's why we spent the whole hour talking about it, because we all needed to understand what it was they were talking about. So, and we've been in this, so if we needed that level of explanation, then certainly the public won't be able to access that. Yeah, it's got to be translated. But I do think we need, I have a specific concern that I want to make sure we talk about, and that was, and it can happen later in this discussion, but I just want to flag the issues around batteries and the security or the safety concerns that they flag. The concerns are actually pretty minimal, but the way they stated it on the slide, I think people would run away screaming from the thought of having a battery anywhere close to their houses.
I think we all noticed that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah, scary.
Well, Charity, it's gonna be up to you to make this work for us. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
yeah? Well, I'm happy to do the public facing one, but Don's gonna have to do the technical one, or the
Yeah,
one
Don,
for
I'm,
us.
I'm kidding,
Because
but I think.
Yeah,
for
I
instance-
mean, I also think, I think that there's a basic issue here, which is that if it takes our committee an hour to understand what they're trying to communicate in this document, that's not even at a level where we want to be giving it to the town board. I mean, are we gonna take an hour with the town board to explain to the point where they can absorb this
No,
information?
it doesn't work that way.
No, it does not work that way.
So
So
again,
I think we
I
have
view
to
this as
really-
sort of, I view this as they just threw out a lot of information, and it's for us to sort of decide, okay, this is valuable to us, this isn't,
Yes.
and
So
sort
what
through
I'd
it.
like to, so maybe what I'd like to do, although I cannot do this by Friday, is come up with a list of visuals that we would like. We would like a table of this, we would like a table of that, based on what they sent us. Because there were a lot of visuals in there that we could probably, and by visuals, I mean, there were tables and charts, and some graphics that we could use. But I think we have to be, I don't know, I don't like them. I think that we need to ask for what we want as opposed to responding to this document, because it was completely incoherent to me.
Well, maybe I have a suggestion. Maybe we could take the elements that they presented, which I think are all
Yes.
important for people to understand. And then I agree completely. It needs to be translated in a way that's going to be really accessible to people. And I just want to say I'm happy to help with that too, because once I retire at the end of this year, or even actually after tomorrow, I will have a lot more time. And I spend my life doing this, trying to take, information that's kind of dense and make it accessible to very busy people. So anyway, Yeah, in terms of, maybe we could ask the question, how, like, what's the timeline for us to come back to ask for those visuals? Because I cannot imagine they'd be that complicated for them to produce.
Don, you wanted to say something? Don has a comment.
The technical details, I think I understand. I have no trouble with the technical details. It's their assumptions I do have trouble with. But you know, I'm not sure what Brian expects by tomorrow as feedback. I think, unfortunately, much of the work of preparing the report for the public, and possibly also, of course, for the town board, will fall to us. I don't think that we can expect them to produce stuff, or let me rephrase that. I don't think they will produce stuff that is going to be directly usable by us.
Correct.
I think that they're so used to doing a very technical reporting to whoever they're working with, that for them, this feels dumbed down. And
Yeah,
I think that they're
I
used to
agree.
working at a much higher level.
No, I agree.
And so I
Yeah.
think what we can do is kind of go through the slides and say, on slide 3, can you just summarize net metering, what it is and how it's gonna impact the public? We don't need the details, but just what is the general gist of it? What is the public gonna see when it comes down? How does it impact us? Then the next slide, is solar cost-effective option for Shelter Island residents? We ran a whole bunch of studies and the conclusion is yes, and it's this effective. And it can just be a percentage. It doesn't have to be numbers and dollars, and that's too technical, I think, for the reporting, but they can say, we ran all of these analysis and this is what we came up with. And they can provide the analysis to the town as backup data for their assumptions or their conclusion. But really just kind of going through each one, what are the costs and benefits of adding a battery? You save approximately X number of dollars a year if this is how you go. You know, I think that each one of these slides can get summarized in a far more digestible way. I think the topics are good. Maybe the scary one about battery storage can go. And just say that there's, you know, very minimal chance of, you know, mass casualties with batteries. And then, you know, I think each one of these has the ability to just get boiled down to like the very basics. So what are the CO2 emission savings with solar only? You get a 70% reduction. That's all it needs to say if you do this, you know, and that's enough. They don't need to see the 3.8 tons of carbon per year at about 15,000 kilowatt. Boom, goes the brain. They won't get it. So
I suggest that we should aim for something that is similar to the PSE&G publicity kind of, you know, should I, you know, get a heat pump, except tailored to Shelter Island.
I think though, I mean, I agree with Meg, and I think, I'm not sure, but I also, to Don's point, I don't think this is something that, this is what they do. To your point, they do,
No.
this is what
We
they.
don't expect,
So I think it really does, it is gonna fall on us. And again, that's why I viewed all this is all information that they put out, whether it's, you know, applicable, accurate, we have to figure that out, but we just cherry pick what is useful to us, because you can't fit all that on a handout sheet. So if we want to make something that's friendly to people, that doesn't make their brains twist and they just turn off,
right.
we just need to convert this into an easy to read document.
Right.
And I don't think we can
And we-
expect them to do that.
And we will also be, because we're here on the ground, we'll also be accessible to the people of Shelter Island on an ongoing basis to provide this kind of information and to help them understand. It's going to be a process and it could take a while. So let me say that. Also, I didn't get a chance to say this yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to say this today. Okay, but with regard to battery safety, I'm not running away screaming from batteries, but we have to be very clear-eyed about it. At a minimum, we should be discussing this with the Shelter Island Fire Department. If you notice, the information sheet yesterday was very specific about where the batteries should be located. not inside the house. We can have that debate, but that's what they said. Okay. Second of all, in the first point, and I have a lot of experience with batteries, okay, going back 30 years, including with EPRI, okay, and including on boats. In the first point, yes, the risk of a thermal runaway from lithium batteries is minimal, okay? We'll have to see as all of these batteries get old, get 5 years old and 10 years old, if that risk changes. But the risk right now is minimal of a thermal runaway. However, and that was not in the first point, if there's a fire in the house for another reason, and there is a battery system in that house, that battery system could in fact catch fire. And if a lithium battery system catches fire, you are not going to be able to put it out. Okay. And that's why I'm suggesting that at a minimum, we have this discussion with the Shelter Island Fire Department. There are many areas, such as New York City, you can't put it in houses or in buildings. The city fire department is very, very strict about battery systems. So I'm not, going to overblow the risks, but I think we have to be very careful. They were very specific about where to put those batteries, and if you notice, none of them was inside the house. And oh, by the way, over the next 5 to 10 years, there will be new and better battery systems coming along. Okay, I'm suggesting that we at least have a conversation with the Shelter Island Fire Departments, because
Yes, Steve,
we have to be in that loop.
Steve, can I just interrupt you and just say yes? One thing we already have is several of the East End towns already grappling with this, and Southampton just weighed in again on this. So we can also check in with them and see how they're addressing this
You're doing a temporary ban until the technology improves.
in Southampton.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
talked to the supervisor of Southampton like last week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and let's also make a differentiation here, because there were a lot of problems on the South Fork and the North Fork with utility scale batteries. We're not talking about utility scale batteries.
Yeah.
We're
No.
we're talking about batteries to, home scale.
It's
Okay,
the
so
feedback to
we have-
Brian we need.
So, okay, good point, Steve.
So what do we want to do with this?
Who's going to write the feedback? What do we have? What, bullets that we're going to provide? Are we going to mark it up? How are we going to provide
I'm
feedback?
happy to provide the feedback, but it cannot, and I'm happy to gather it from all of us, but it can't happen by Friday. So
No,
I
so
don't,
I just want to get back to them tomorrow or today actually and say, we talked about this, but we're not going to be able to do what you just said by tomorrow. I think what I'd like to say is that you provide us with a lot of information that we can use, but it's not all of it. But again, everything we just talked about, how we want to convert it into a more user-friendly, public-friendly format. And that's going to take time, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think what we need to do is give them a document that that specifies if there's any missing graphical material that we want. I mean, eventually they're going to give us a PowerPoint presentation, and then we can revise it to our heart's content. But we need to make sure that the terms that we're going to, that any undefined terms are defined, and that that is information I think we need from them. And then if there are any graphics that we need, any pie charts or tables that we need from them that are not here, we should ask for those.
Right, but to Meg's point, and this occurred to me while I was watching it, when we have the thing net metering, there's no explanation of what net metering is.
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean. We need that
I don't think
information we need for.
I don't think I want them to explain what net metering is. I would rather that we do that.
We don't want them to explain what they think net metering is, so that we can then translate it into English.
Well, we know
We know what it is.
We know what it is.
We know what it is.
Yeah. I think we can explain that. I just wanted to weigh in and say support Steve's points completely. But I also wonder if we can't set up a document on some platform so that we can have everybody editing on that document with like track changes.
Oh.
I'd be happy to set it up,
Are we
but I
allowed,
don't know
yeah,
if it
why
has
don't
to
we do
be
that?
in this.
So why don't you just put the PowerPoint up there and we'll all have at it?
Yeah, I can put it on the SharePoint,
On
everyone
SharePoint.
can just, I turn on review track changes and, put your comments in. I don't mind going through the document today and highlighting terms that need to be defined and what needs to get summarized simply for the public. I think it's okay to have one very technical document and one that's just a summary document. And the summary document is what goes out to the public. But some of this it's not user-friendly and it's not self-explanatory, which is
No.
the problem.
And we cannot have the picture on the first slide. We already asked them to lose that picture. So the one of the airport.
That's not what it is.
Um,
I think we need to take control of this. I mean, if we're gonna,
Yeah.
we're gonna waste a
Well, we
lot of
have
time working.
control of it. It is, they're putting it in our control. It is we have to ask them for any information that is missing or that we don't understand, but this is our document and we can do whatever we want with it.
Yeah, but we need to commit to write this thing.
Okay, so, do you wanna go through the slides now and I'll make a quick list of each thing that needs to happen and we can just do it?
Yeah, we can do that until Lynn comes, if she comes.
Yeah,
I gave Coco Coco, can you put that up on the screen?
I have it on mine if I'm allowed to share.
Coco has it too.
Okay.
We have a problem. Okay, there we are. Can everybody see that?
yeah.
Okay.
The first slide, I'll make a note to just change the picture.
Yes, let's have Glenna Wickus. Just kidding.
So is there something we would like instead? Do you want a picture of Shelter Island?
When I prepare a PowerPoint, I begin with an outline. And also I keep in mind what my thesis advisor once told me. To prepare the document, what you write is you tell the people what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them.
Exactly.
Okay, and I don't think any of that is here.
Meg, I think the first picture should be that aerial view of the island.
Okay,
You know the picture I mean?
Plenty of those.
all right.
Okay.
Slide one done,
Next slide.
slide two.
The slide 2 is where, to Don's point, where we need to have maybe 4 bullet points saying what we're going to tell them.
This is an analysis of what a typical residence on Shelter Island might obtain in savings. Something like that, or is it? What is this thing?
This is providing a context at the very basic level, overall to our energy situation on the East End. You know, I think one of the main objectives, if not the main objective, to the basic communication statement we're trying to put together here is to establish and maintain confidence in us, the source of information that we're going to be providing to the customers. That confidence level going forward on the part of Shelter Island residents is going to be essential to our success. So I think that first page is really just starting from well, this is what it looks like out there. This is the world we're living in, and what we're looking to change. Things like, the summer peak twice the winter peak, that has huge cost implications. We don't have to, drill down into the weeds as to why there's cost implications, big cost implications. Okay. Load growth is growing. Electricity consumption is growing at over 2% a year and is likely to grow even faster. So we're looking ahead here to the future. All these things impact on resilience. So we're starting from very basic facts about where we are now in our electric consumption. And I think that's what that slide is.
So I think also this is like a guide.
Right.
This is how you can save energy and save money. That's essentially sort of the point of this, right?
Right.
Okay.
Here, I'll share my screen in a second. Let me log in because I have it
At
up.
first,
right
and that first page is why we all need to do our bit. Okay, that's what that first page.
What this is, and then you explain why.
Do we want to state the problem?
Well, I started with even more basic. I have what is ETIP? I mean, it doesn't even say that in here. So I said, what is ETIP and what were you tasked with doing? And then what is a re-up analysis? And then what were the results? Like, very, like, it needs to be an actual introduction. If the notes that Becky has on here are that this is gonna be, hold on, I have this little things blocking. Okay, she says, should it be part, let's see, we see this as our presentation to the town board. Through the handout, we'll have to include something about, I don't know what GOC is, and the ETIP project. So
GOC is us.
Oh, okay, right, green options, thank you. So tired. My brain.
Acronyms.
And so, right, that's another problem right there. I shouldn't have to work so hard for this. So, my thing is, instead of having it be a separate handout, if we're gonna do a PowerPoint presentation, the introduction is, we're ETIP, this is what we did. We did a re-up analysis. The re-up analysis shows you this. And we were charged with running it on this scenario, and here are the results, right?
Yeah.
So that should be your first intro.
Of course.
You're laying it out there. So when it just says ETIP project overview with nothing, and then it says energy use overview, and it gives you all these numbers, we're like, well, how did you get there, and why, and what, and where, and how, and who? So, I just started with that red sentence.
Okay.
I think that this document, as modified by them, is a them to us document to GOC.
Right.
I think it's separate from our presentation to the board or to the public. So I don't think we should expect them to do either of those two latter things.
Yeah, but I do think we need to respond with
It needs to be,
what we're not getting out of this and what we
Right.
intend to see.
yes.
So that they understand where the disconnect is. All right, so,
That's a phone call or someone talking to Brian. And the message is, great place to start, we'll take it, we're gonna create 2 other documents, and we're gonna come back to you for information and graphics and things that we need when we create our other 2 documents.
All of those graphics and everything else, of course, in editable form, needless to say.
Yeah, can I just add that I think that Meg's point about the ETIP project overview is very good one. I mean, obviously, what we're starting from is the need to provide greater resilience to the island, which means keeping the lights on going forward next month, next year, 10 years from now. That's what we're about. That's what ETIP basically is about, and that's what we'd like to do for the island. And again, it's establishing credibility and confidence on the part of the board as well as people in the island.
And I would add to that, well said, I would add to that, perhaps, establishing greater energy independence and saving money, because all of this will do both of those things.
Okay, but the question I have again is, we go back to them, the net metering. Are we gonna ask them to explain net metering better, or are we
I'd
gonna
like
do
to
it?
see what their definition is, and then we can take it and modify
So
it
you
however
say
it
you
makes
want them
sense.
to not just,
I guess, what's
We
the
can do
downside?
that.
Extra time from them?
Right, we're not paying
Yeah.
for it.
Well, no, but we may be limited by their time.
We don't need them to define net metering. We can put, a 1 sentence or 2 sentence description that will be good for our community. We can put that in there. It's not a very complicated concept, really.
I think, I agree with Meg. Ask them to define it, then we work with whatever they send us. We're going to have to create these documents ourselves. What this PowerPoint is a starting point. But I think we need to get from them, in the time that they have remaining to listen to us and give us stuff, we have to ask them for whatever information we think we're gonna need. And I would like to see how they define net metering.
no. I just,
That's minor, I think.
I think it's minor, yeah, it's not worth fighting over. Is solar a cost-effective option for residents of Shelter Island? So, I mean, this slide isn't that bad, I mean. So,
Well, as I said, except for the assumptions, how many rooftops have 861 square feet south facing? But anyway,
Yeah.
that's 43 by 20.
Tom, when we went to Greenport and looked at the firehouse, was that an east-west
Yes.
array?
No, yes, it was.
It
It's
was.
east, yes, it's east-west. Yes, you are right. It was, but moderately sloped. Yes, but it was
Yeah, full sun.
full sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
can we get a clearly stated yes or no, it's an effective option?
In other words, make it a statement
Yeah,
rather than a question without a question mark.
Yeah, to be sure, you need to do a site survey on each
In
potential
other words,
site.
solar is a cost-effective option.
Yeah, and then, you could say, on optimal conditions are a south-facing roof
Right.
with, no obstructions. But then just say, if you have a roof that is facing in a different orientation to the sun, I mean, it'd be simpler than that, obviously.
Result,
But the result is
think,
like you lose
remember
20,
that we
wait,
have-
you lose 20%
Todd,
of your production capacity, and then just leave it at that. I mean, I think there's some sort of rules of thumb about solar generation that aren't terribly complicated.
Also,
You
keep
could
in mind
say-
that many people on Shelter Island have experience with photovoltaic cells on their roofs. So I think asking if it's a cost-effective option is silly.
Well, it's a cost-effective option for many residents of Shelter
Right.
Island.
Many of whom have already availed themselves of it.
I don't know that there's a large percentage of solar, I mean, there's some, but
There are enough that I think we should recognize that this is, it has happened. And I mean, in other words, I think that we should approach this with the assumption that solar is a good idea. You have to, it's not for every single structure, but we
Right.
should move
Many.
past the question of whether it's a good idea or not, and to the
When we
questions of how to evaluate whether it's good for you.
today,
But
other than Arthur.
I'm gonna ask, can I interrupt for a second? Steve,
Yes,
do you have Lynn's cell phone number?
I sent her a text and haven't heard back from her.
yeah,
And
I,
hey,
So when I edited this, I just changed it from a question to a statement. So it says solar is a cost-effective option for residents of Shelter Island.
I would say for many residents of Shelter Island, it's not just about the size of the roof or the direction of the roof. A lot of people have a lot of tree shade and may not want to cut down trees to expose their roof. So I would say for many, you're leaving some leeway there.
Okay.
Yeah, and people also need to have a reasonably new roof. But I was thinking about our audience, and the people I've been thinking about through this whole project are people without a lot of resources who are still interested in doing things like rooftop solar to basically to save money and to, be able to generate their own electricity. So I would like to think about, have like somebody in mind as we're developing these materials, who, yes, a lot of people have solar because they have the resources to do it. And there are, I think, quite a few people that haven't done it yet, but need help in navigating the process.
Your email.
Yeah, and let's also keep in mind that, the purpose, the main purpose of community solar is for those who may not have the financial resources, or for those who may not have the south-facing roof, or for those who may not want to cut down their trees to still participate in solar and reap the benefits of solar. I mean, that's what community solar is for too. It's a very good option for those, instead of just putting a system on your house.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to hear about today. Okay.
Yeah.
How do we want to?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that everybody wants to send in their notes.
I think that's what we should do.
I mean, this is a good technical document. I know some of the assumptions have questions. I wouldn't write it off completely. It's good
No, we're
to
not
get
writing it
the
off.
full information, but we do need a simplified version.
We're not writing it off at all.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So, but we do need to respond to them so they can do this and get it back to us.
Well.
So, you want to tell
I
them?
semi-limited time today. But I can certainly take some time to do this. Let me, when I get home, let me contact Becky and Brian, just explain sort of our feelings about this document and how we can view it in two different ways. And if we want to make it more user-friendly, we're going to need more time than tomorrow to
Right.
address.
Right.
That sounds like a good thing. Yeah. Call them and talk to them.
And we will do that.
Yeah.
And I'll say this is great information, but we need to digest it and convert it and put it in a format that would actually work for us.
Right. And they can give a more technical presentation to the town board to show
Yes,
that
but
they've
even-
done their job.
but
You know
even-
what I mean?
But even that, this would not work for the town board. It's got to be shorter.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
trust me.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying the town board's not up to,
Oh, no, it's long and dry and it would
It's
be very
long- it's
confusing
long
for
and
people to
dry.
watch.
and there's a lot of information and numbers and data.
It's just confusing.
Huh?
Some of it's just confusing.
Yeah.
And it's just not gonna work.
Right. So give them a call, talk to them, let them know what our concerns are. I think they got a little bit of an understanding of the concerns by yesterday's conversation and how many questions we had about it.
Yeah, but I think they also think we, and many of you do know a lot about this, but that's not the general public,
Right.
so.
Yes, and it's our job to translate for the general public, and if necessary, for the town board. I agree
Yes.
with the comments that we need to make it understandable and presentable. But
Yes.
let's be clear, there's only so much you can water this stuff down. We need to, keep that in mind as well. And
Yeah,
that's
we
our
can-
job.
We can
get
pick
pretty
and choose
basic.
stuff and
Yeah.
organize stuff in a way that makes it easier.
Okay. Sure.
So Steve, you have not heard back from Lynn?
I just
Uh,
emailed her.
No. I sent her a text and at 9:30 and she has not responded to me. I hope she's okay.
And I emailed her again.
Yeah, because I emailed her at 8:15. But she emailed me at 7, what time is the meeting? I said 9 to 10. And so she has my cell phone number.
She hasn't reached out to anybody, like she can't log in or.
No.
No, I told her if you have a problem, let me know myself.
Maybe she just got busy.
Well, maybe I'll jump off here and try to call her.
What, 10
although-
minutes left?
Yeah, she's only got 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What else do we
Well,
have?
we might have to push her back until next month.
Okay, sorry, Sarah. Which brings me to PSE&G, yeah.
Tim, I'm sorry, when you voted in the.
Yeah, I was gonna. So what Coco had a question about was the June 19th meeting is a federal holiday, it's Juneteenth. So, looking at the calendar, I was thinking maybe we could bump that June 19th meeting to, dun, 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 dun.
Oh, sorry, I didn't,
Yeah, no, it's just, could we,
The 26th?
yeah, could we go to the 26th,
June 26th,
June 26th instead of June 19th,
okay,
same time?
okay.
Does that work?
It will,
You good with that, Coco?
Yes, thanks, Meg.
okay, good, thank you, sorry.
That's okay.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, so going back to the agenda. So PSE&G meeting,
Yeah, I have a new contact. I actually talked to someone from PSE&G last week at the East End Supervisors and Mayors meeting.
Mhm.
So I have a new contact there, so I'm gonna reach out to him and have him help me set up a new meeting with everybody to talk about infrastructure upgrades, who bears the burden, all of that. So
right,
once he gets back to me, because I did email him, but he hasn't responded yet,
okay.
then we can set up something. I'm thinking it probably won't be until after the new
No,
year.
I'm assuming it'll be.
The holidays and
No,
everything
no,
going
I'm
on.
assuming, but I guess my concern is that some people take off, like Christmas week and stuff,
Mhm.
and that we're not gonna be able to set up something before people sort of disperse for Christmas. So, not to,
Mhm.
but if we set this up before that happens and
Yeah.
then do it like, hopefully in the first week of January or something, because February 2nd is the due date for the, whatever it's called,
Mhm.
for the OSID.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to set it up for the beginning of January.
Okay.
It is Michael Iannelli.
I think you're looking at early January if you want to meet with PSE&G. I can tell you that from personal
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, we were just discussing that, Steve.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, I understand the time constraints.
Yeah. So, I'll figure out availabilities and I'll send it out to everybody.
okay. And even if all,
Just to-
even if the
And do we
entire,
have an agenda for that meeting?
what's that?
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Let's just get the date set. We can go on from
Good.
there. And if everybody can't make some of these dates, we're just gonna go with whoever can do it.
Okay.
Usually put the cards in like, it's your leads.
Could I just say,
Yes,
I guess you'll get the meeting whenever you can get it with them, but I just wanted to put in for the record, the one day in early January that I'm working with my current organization on a consulting basis is January 6th. So I'll be probably out that whole day, but of course, whenever you can get the meeting with them is important.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it won't be January 6th because we have a whole bunch of meetings here on January 6th. We have our organizational meeting, and then the 7th is the work session and the CAC meeting. So we'll come up with something, but it probably won't be that Monday is my best guess, especially if they're coming off a holiday. I don't think they're gonna try to schedule this Monday.
Yeah, good point. Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Does anybody have any old business or new business they want to bring up before I ask we have one guest today before I check in with them. Anything anybody want to bring up?
I just want, this is the residence. Did Brian say when he's going to get us the info for the?
Geothermal?
No, not geothermal, for solar at the recycling center?
So yesterday I did get an email from Gustavo asking if he had the correct information. So first of all, they included the shed.
The salt
Oh,
shed.
did you see that? Okay. Oh, you did? Did all of you see that?
No.
No. Okay. They included the salt shed. So I wrote back and said, no, the salt shed is not part of the study.
We went through that several
Yeah,
times.
Right, but the problem is the picture in the slide that you sent him had both the salt shed and the big building in it, so I think that's where they get
They get
confused.
But if they read the email,
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
they
Anyway.
don't read.
Okay, anyway, I clarified that, we're just having two rooftops. And then the concern was that, did they have the correct PSE&G information, bill information for those buildings, for those?
Yeah.
So again, I'm still confused, I've never been able to understand which meter serves the actual recycling area. So I emailed Ken again yesterday.
Yeah.
And he gave me an ID number, but not the meter number. So I asked him again, is this the correct meter number? Because the bill has different information on it. Anyway, I didn't hear back as of this morning. So I will check again and just make sure they're two separate bills. They're actually fairly close. There's a difference of about $2,000 a year annually between them. So I just want to make sure we have the correct one for the actual recycling center area. I have the one for the major building, that's done. So that's all I just want to do, and they're just waiting for that.
And when would Gustavo provide this to us with that information?
No,
We don't know.
I don't know, but I can find out. I can ask.
Our next ETIP meeting is on the 8th of January.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, if nobody has anything else, I'm just gonna reach out to our Zoom audience. Elise, good morning, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Good.
Um,
Do you have any questions?
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, just real quick. I'm heading up to, I'll be on Shelter Island on Saturday. That's for a couple of weeks. That'll be great. But I know you were going through a lot of stats and everything, and I know I have to reach out and get this information myself, but I face south. And I don't want to put a solar on my brand new roof, but I did want to add an overhang in the front of my roof, in the front of my porch. And I need to get some stats on how much of coverage would be adequate to do that, to make it worthwhile. So I don't know if the stats that you guys are going through have that information, or if I should just seek out a vendor to find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should contact vendors.
Yeah.
And get it from them.
Okay. Because I don't want those solar things on my roof. I don't want any penetration on my roof, but if I'm going to put a new structure on my house, I want to incorporate that as an overhang and utilize that, as hopefully a not so unsightly solar.
And a vendor would be your best bet for that.
Okay, I will do that. Thanks, guys.
Anything else you want
Elise, I'd be very interested in if you have any suggestions about, I don't know if you looked at any of those slides, but, I think one of the sort of problems that we have on this committee is that we have a lot of technical expertise and we don't always look at this technical information and understand how confusing it can be to people who, don't spend their time thinking about solar cells.
No, I think we're a good mixed Charity, because I look at that information, and I really want to, I don't want to say dumb down, but I want to see it in a way that I can digest, because I have trouble, I just don't naturally understand a lot of these things.
With Charity, with explanations on the slides, all of this would be understandable. The explanations are not there.
Right, that's the
I thought, when I was looking through the information, I thought there was a lot of good information. I understood it. But I think you all are very capable of getting this to be a more digestible document. So I have no worries there.
So do you want us to ask them to explain the information more?
like each slide almost needs a little intro on what they're presenting. It's just not, they're not describing what they're doing, they're just throwing facts
I
at
know.
us, and so.
I
Exactly.
think that what we ask for them for should be more explanation, but in the final, what we put out to the public and to the board finally should have less information.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it will. But again, I said this to them yesterday, I prefer having all the information, and then you pick and choose what information is valuable to you.
Right.
And how you can use it, rather than have them cut back on information, and then it's just, I think it's better the other way around.
And I think one of the purposes of the slides and so forth is we had talked about, we'll be going out to homeowner associations, making the rounds there. And in addition to showing slides, we'll be able to answer questions or provide explanations. And we may not have all the information at that point too, but, again, we want to establish and maintain confidence. So I think that's part of the rollout of the information.
I don't know. I mean, some of the other committees have been going to home associations doing presentations, and I think they're well received, and they sort of assume that the committee knows what they're talking about.
Once we have all the information, we can decide how we want to send it out to people.
Yeah.
We can do an email blast with a
There are
summary sheet, there's so many options.
many formats to do this in.
Yeah.
So, but I think we just need the basic information, and then we build what we want with it. And it might be different things. Okay. We're at 10:05. If anybody has, if nobody has anything else they want to bring up, I will make a motion to end the meeting. Okay.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
Merry
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
Happy
Happy
New
Christmas
Year.
and happy holidays, and to all,
Yeah, it is.
stay healthy.
Yes.
RSV is going around.
It's a great sunshine, Tim.
Yeah, way to bring us down.
A friend yesterday who's been really, really sick for 4 days.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
wow.
If you haven't gotten a vaccine for RSV, I recommend
I
it.
got the vaccine. It nearly killed me.
Yes, the
Yeah,
vaccine was
I-
harsh.
And the recommendation is 65 or over.
Yeah, I had
I
I
qualify.
had about with COVID, let me tell you, I had all of the vaccines and boosters, and I had a 2-week bout with COVID that was knock down, drag out. So, don't assume, even if you've had all the boosters,
Yeah, I know.
No,
you're
but
be
Steve,
safe.
you'd be in the emergency room if you hadn't had the
Take
shot.
care.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay. Again, stay healthy.
Please stay healthy.